I see your wife walking out the door right now, and you're not making any effort to stop her.
Yeah, well, maybe she doesn't want to be stopped.
Well, whether she wants it or not, you've got to stop her, at least long enough to find out whether or not she knows what her decision means. I think she wants to be stopped, Russ. I think that's why all of this behavior, these extremes of hers, are just a way of getting your attention.
So, what, you're saying that Becky doesn't want a career?
No, I think she's a little girl lost in a brand new world, and she wants your help. But so far, your only response has been, I forbid you to do it, or, well, you can do anything you want. Neither one of which are very realistic. Now, if you're not apathetic about your marriage, and obviously you're not, then stop acting like you are.
There's two things I insist on when drinking brandy. The first is pleasant conversation. The second is that it not be done while sitting at a table.
May I suggest, then, that we retire to the living room?
Oh, yes. Madame. How about for pleasant conversation, we start with the topic of your career first?
First, second, third, and fourth, because it's my favorite subject.
3 years, Becky. 3 years, maybe 2 if we're lucky. Your name is going to be up there with all the big names in the business. Barbara Streisand, Olivia Newton-John, Diana Ross, Becky Hewitt. Sip it, honey. You got to sip it.
You mentioned my name with all those women, and you think that I'm coughing off the brandy.
You don't believe me?
Well, it's not a matter of believing, but I can... Barbara Streisand.
It's all a matter of time, Becky.
I think it's a matter of talent.
That you have, dear lady. That you have.
But those people, they make movies.
Tell you what, I'll bet you a Mercedes with all the trimmings that we get a movie deal in 26 months.
I'm not an actress.
It's easy. It's easy. All you have to do is smile seductively for the close-ups. Toss your head in the medium shots, wiggle your body in the long shots, and bingo, you are an actress.
This is too much, David. I can't concentrate on this.
Well, let's talk about other things.
What about Phil and the band? They're gonna freak out when they hear. What do you got planned for them?
Nothing.
Huh?
Nothing.
You mean just records, nothing else?
I mean that Summer Wind is interchangeable with a million other local bands all across the country. They're staying right here in Kingsley.
But they're my family.
They're amateurs.
What about Phil? Phil's still in, right?
You're gonna do it solo, Becky.
But Phil gave me my break. Got me started.
I gave you your break.
But he encourages me, you know? He supports me.
Is Phil the only one that can do that? Come on, Becky. Just trust me. Trust me.
David, either I do this with Phil and Summer Wind, or I don't do it at all.
No kidding. Oh, I wish I'd been there. You guys in New Orleans have all the fun. What? Oh, Kingsley. But believe me, Chuck, it ain't gonna be for much longer. There's no action in this town, if you know what I mean. No, tell me. Really? How many times? I wouldn't put up with that. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Could be. But I wouldn't count on it. You know, I think she's a real pain.
Jill, could you wrap it up? We have a lot to do before dinner.
I'll get the others, honey.
Oh, have we been talking that long? Yeah, I guess maybe I should go too. Okay. See ya. Bye.
I was hoping that when you saw us come in, you'd offer to help.
Yes, well, I was talking to Peter, and you said you wanted us to be friends, didn't you?
Yes, I did, but...
Well, I was being friends.
That's it, honey.
Why'd you come home so early? No customers again?
Business was slow, yes. Jill, next time, please be more considerate.
Well, I'll go right out to the kitchen and put all the groceries away, just like a good little girl.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. See, things are working out.
Jeff, I think that Jill was smoking marijuana this afternoon.
What?
Jenny said that she had a funny-smelling cigarette in the backyard. I realize that it doesn't mean that she was, but...
No, but the chances are pretty good. Well, that's great. How are we supposed to handle this?
Should we just confront her?
I don't know. You know, she's got enough money to buy dope, but we don't even have enough money to buy groceries.
Honey, the Lord will take care of us.
Yeah, when, Liz? You know, I'm tired of going to the savings account all the time. There's little enough there as it is.
Maybe, Ben and Dave will decide to rent our storeroom for the clinic after all, and that'll provide some income.
Yeah, and after that, maybe they'll take over the whole bookstore as well.
I love you. Well, I better go supervise in the kitchen.
Liz? If, something doesn't happen pretty quick, I don't know how much longer we're even going to stay here.
I'd like for you to release my sister from jail.
What? But why?
Well, it's not as if she hurt anyone when she violated your order. My family and I are the only other people involved in this case.
But Mrs. Davidson, her violation of my order showed a total contempt for the law.
Oh, I realize that, and I'm not trying to minimize the seriousness of what she did. But her actions are the result of a lifetime of anger. Having her locked up with common criminals for what's essentially a family matter just tears me apart. She was arrested in the first place because I got angry. And I realize now that I was wrong.
Well, I hardly think anyone would condemn you for your anger. After all, in the eyes of the law, your actions were just and correct.
Well, maybe in the eyes of the law, Your Honor, but not God's. I don't expect you to understand that. But because of it, I've got to try and make amends.
May I ask you a personal question?
Well, please.
Why, after all she has done to you, are you going out of your way to help her?
The easy answer is the Lord wants us to forgive. And I do forgive her, but it's deeper than that. My mother tried very hard to love Nancy, but she was human. When my father hurt her, that never left her. Nancy is the most sensitive person I've ever known. Of course Mother's hurt affected her. It had to. But her way of dealing with that hurt was to turn it into hate. I'm sorry. Believe me, my mother regretted what happened. She carried her anguish with her to her grave. I know it's impossible to change the past, but I think that we can avoid making the mistakes for today.
I agree. I'll contact the jail and have your sister released.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're a remarkable woman, Mrs. Davidson. You know, if 1/10 of the people I see in this office believed the way you do, I'm convinced we'd live in a different world.
It's not me. It's the Lord. I'm just trying to do His will. And you're right. We would live in a different world.
I thought I heard someone grunting in here.
Hi, Jill.
Is this heap really worth the trouble?
Well, today it's creative maintenance.
Your approach is creative, all right. Here, try using a 5/8 on that.
Thanks.
I gotta go see your mom.
Oh, she's not here. She went to take care of something about my dad's insurance or something. She'll be right back.
Oh. It must have been tough losing your dad like that.
Yeah.
Well, at least you've got someone to blame.
Oh, I guess so. What good does it do? I mean, he's still gone.
My old man killed himself. Not with a gun or anything like that. But what's the difference? The booze did the same thing. Just like a rat deserting a sinking ship. He couldn't deal with life like it was. I don't see how he expected us to. Coward.
How old were you when he died?
14.
Well, you shouldn't be mad at him. What good does it do?
Helps remind me how rotten people are. You'd think, with all the trouble that creep put us through, that my mom would ease up after he kicked off. No way. She got worse. That's why I split.
Well, I'm sure it's tough on her, too. She probably did the best she could.
Shows what you know. I guess I'd say the same thing if
I was raised here in La La Land.
What are you after anyway, Jill?
A place to be me, where nobody can put me down. A place I can go back to, no matter what I do or where I go. A nice car, someone who likes me. I don't know what I want, but I know I've never been anywhere that comes close to it.
Hello.
Hi.
Miss me?
Does that answer your question?
Almost. Let me ask you again. Miss me? I think you did.
I guess actions do speak louder than words.
I love you. Come here. Is this too uncomfortable for you?
I'm the girl who wanted to buy a single bed, remember?
All right. Because the sheets were cheaper, right?
Right.
Watch it. I spend good money to make it look like this.
Oh, yeah?
Look at those feet.
Oh, no! I'll stop, I promise. I promise I'll stop.
You promise?
I promise.
Okay.
See if I cut your hair again.
Notice anything different about today?
Yeah. You didn't comb your hair.
Besides that, and don't get smart.
Yeah.
How about the time?
You're early. What's up?
Nothing. And it's going to stay that way. I'm sorry I've been so preoccupied with work and the clinic lately. Tonight it's just you and me, kid.
I'm sorry I've been so tense. The whole night, huh?
Yep. What shall we do first? Don't answer that.
We have to.
Is that a law or something?
You took an oath, remember?
There's nothing about telephones in the Hippocratic Oath. Hello? Yes, this is he. I'll be right there. I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry. At least we had a few minutes together.
Let's say it was a preview.
I love you.
It was very kind of you to wait for me, Jill.
Well, if I didn't, I would have gotten a bunch of flack when I got back to the Cummings.
Why? What for?
Miss Davidson, you're gonna let me have it for something, aren't you?
Whatever for?
Well, it just seems that everyone seems to be taking shots at me.
I'm sure it must.
I got enough of that at home.
Here, why don't you take this over here in the 2 cups? I'll get the coffee. Jill, tell me, you ever get tired of moving from place to place?
Yeah, but usually it's in such a town that's so drippy that I don't mind.
You know, when my husband was a reporter, we used to move around a lot. I never liked that part of his job.
Did you cry at his funeral?
Yes.
I didn't at my dad's. I was the only one.
What was he like?
He was always dreaming. He wanted to be a writer. I always wanted to be a movie star, but I'm not, I'm smart enough to know I'm not gonna be.
What kinds of things did he write?
Stupid little stories. He wrote one about me once. Well, at least the name of the girl in the story was Jill. She had a flying carpet that would take her anywhere. But the only place she wanted to go was her castle. But a wicked witch put a spell on the
magic carpet, and her castle was the only place that couldn't take her. Oh, it was dumb.
I think it sounds like a nice story.
He had a million of them. He'd send them to magazines, and the magazines would write back a little note that said, "Dear Sir, your stories are dumb."
Do you miss him?
No way. It's kind of hard to miss someone who makes your life so miserable. He was a drunk, you know.
Jill, it can be the most devastating thing in the world to find out that our parents make mistakes. But we're no different from them. Not really. When they know you know they're not perfect, they need your love more than ever.
I tried to love Mrs. Davidson, but he wouldn't let me. Neither would my mom.
I don't know where she is. She didn't leave a note in here.
Boy, you two have really come up in the world.
No, I think it's more like Becky's come up. I'm just along for the ride.
Does she often do this? Just take off without any explanations or goodbyes?
Well, that is the nature of the business.
And you stand for that?
It's not as if I have much of a choice.
Oh, yeah, you got a choice. You've obviously chosen to let her get away with this kind of behavior.
That's not it.
Well, what is it, Russ? Like the time she just took off for New York?
It was business.
It's a funny business when a woman's husband has less to do with her life than her manager. Now, is she Becky Weaver or are you Russ Hewitt?
Look, we've been through this before. I love her. I want her to be happy. Hey, and right now having a career, it makes her happy.
I see. Oh, my son thinks that being happy is letting another man make the moves on his wife.
Don't impose your sordid scenario on my marriage, Vince. It's a business relationship. Pure and simple.
And you're happy with that?
No, I'm not happy with that. Man, you just don't let up, do you? What should I do, Vince, huh? You say if I play her too loose, I'm no husband. And I know darn good and well if I play her too tight, she's gonna be gone, so I don't know what to do.
Well, why don't you give me a tear to go along with that, Russ? Then we can both lament the marriage that couldn't be saved.
Yeah, and after we're done with that, we might have talked about the woman that you couldn't marry.
All right, so I have made some mistakes. There's no secret about it, but why do you have to repeat them?
Oh, I am not going to repeat them.
Well, if things continue as they are, you're going to lose Becky just as sure as I lost your mother. Oh, I know. You're going to say I let her get away. Well, I see your wife walking out the door right now, and you're not making any effort to stop her.
Yeah, well, maybe she doesn't want to be stopped.
Well, whether she wants it or not, you've got to stop her at least long enough to find out whether or not she knows what her decision means. I think she wants to be stopped, Russ. I think that's why all of this behavior, these extremes of hers, are just a way of getting your attention.
What, you're saying that Becky doesn't want a career?
No, I think she's a little girl lost in a brand new world, and she wants your help. But so far, your only response has been, "I forbid you to do it," or, "Oh, you can do anything you want." Neither one of which are very realistic. Now, if you're not apathetic about your marriage, and obviously you're not, then stop acting like you are.
Peter, don't wash your hands there.
Too late, they're already wet.
Oh, you're impossible. Here, use these paper towels. Not, I repeat, not the dishcloth to dry them.
So, what kind of damage did you do to the car this afternoon?
Well, the usual. You got your lube job, oil change, fan belt, new radiator, rewiring, and a new clutch. Nothing major. What are you doing here?
Spreading goodwill and good cheer.
Oh, yeah? Well, you do look malodorous.
What is that supposed to mean?
Well, it's emitting something.
Peter, I think you better look up your adjectives before you use them.
Okay. You look radiant. Radiant.
Thank you, I think. Ben's on an emergency.
Mm. Hey, it's just like old times.
Almost. Listen, I heard that you saw Jill this afternoon.
Yeah?
A new girlfriend?
No way. She's a bit too spacey for me.
Well, you've dated your share of extraterrestrials.
True, but I don't want to have anything to do with this one.
Oh, Peter, now come on, you're not being fair. She's had a very rough life, and we shouldn't be judgmental.
Wow, come on. She's practically a juvenile delinquent.
Well, all the more reason for us to go out of our way to be kind to her.
Well, she won't let anybody get close to her.
You know, in a lot of ways, she reminds me of Nancy at that age. I know it can be hard to love someone like that, but remember, they're the ones that need it the most.
That may be true for some people. But Nancy? Forget it.
Yeah, well, maybe I'm afraid to make Becky take a good close look at our life together because I'm afraid she just might find that life apart might be a little more attractive.
Living in fear can be a lot worse than confronting whatever it is that you're afraid of.
Hey, Vince.
Well, there's my errant daughter-in-law.
Yeah, returned home from all her errands. Mwah. How do you like the place?
It's a big step up in the world.
Where you been?
Well, David and I had a late lunch. Then he insisted that I get some gold lame spandex pants, a little strapless top, and a funky blue sweater dress.
And I suppose that's exactly what you got in those boxes, isn't it?
Plus, look, plus a few other things. I'll tell you something, when David tells me to do something, I do it. He's not kidding. He's serious about the whole thing. How about a grand tour? You ready?
Oh, sure, sure.
Okay. Over there, that's my stereo, and believe it or not, that's going to be a tax deduction.
Oh.
Come on over here. This window in the morning, the sun, it's gorgeous, it's beautiful. David picked this whole place out especially for me. Then over here is a real dining room. And back through there is the kitchen. David says this is just the beginning. He says, in 3 years, Vince, I'm going to have a place 10 times the size of this one. Come on in here, I want to show you. We got one of those food